On the gridiron or courtside, you know what time it is. It's
Sports plus life. Sports plus life.
ringside or front court or field pass, we ballin', no. Knuckle up or buckle up. I tell it like it is when I'm on my show. Home run, slam dunk, knockout, or got to go.
Sports plus life.
Yeah.
Sports plus life.
Ah.
Yo. What's up? What's really good? It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. You feel me? And you know what's going down today, bruh. So, guess what? Turn it off, turn it all the way off. Now, yeah, how's everybody doing today? Oh my goodness, please allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life, that there sports podcast where we talk about all of the necessary topics in sports and all of the necessary topics in life. And before I go any further, happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. This is a national, it's a federal holiday. Happy Juneteenth. I did have to work. Yes, I did. But I'm saying this just to recognize this holiday. And it's crazy because I know there are going to be a lot of people that don't want to recognize this holiday for a while, which is the same reason why we even celebrate Juneteenth, because not everybody in this country wanted to recognize that black people were free centuries ago until this date in 1865. Okay. But you know what? I had to work today. So when the Juneteenth comes and I don't have to work, then I'll be like, all right, hey, lift every voice and sing. No, I'm just joking, but for real, happy Juneteenth. I hope everybody got to enjoy their day off. Anyway, allow me to give my shout outs to my, not just my black and gold fam, but my fam in general. Yesterday was Father's Day as well, so let me shout out all of the wonderful fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to you all. Happy belated Father's Day. Yeah, y'all can get the clapping sound effect for that too. All the real daddies out there. Or should I say all the real fathers out there? All the real fathers out there, you got my utmost respect. Shout out to you, because if you just a daddy, if you just a BD, if you fit the mold of you just a baby daddy, then tighten up, partner. But no, the real fathers out here, they don't get enough credit. They don't get enough respect for Father's Day. You know, in Mother's Day, we go all out for Mother's Day. We love our mama. Father's Day, it's cool. You may find a nice car on sale at some dealership, but Father's Day, they don't give us the type of love that they get to mamas. I get it. Okay, I get it. Everybody love their mama, but hey, being a real father, it's a tough job too. They say it takes a village to raise a kid. So again, if you fit the mold of baby daddy, tighten up, player. But anyway, anyhow, are you guys ready to enter the realm of sports? I'm ready. You ready? We ready? They all ready. Let's get to it. There is a new champion in the National Basketball Association. For the first time ever, the Denver Nuggets are NBA champions. After a long 40-plus, nearly 50-year wait, the Denver Nuggets defeated the Miami Heat 4-1. Gentlemen swept them and claimed their first NBA title. Nikola Jokic was your finals MVP. And the last time we did a show was a week ago, right when, and we finished right as game 5 was just starting. And I said then that I thought the Denver Nuggets were going to be celebrating winning an NBA championship. And that game was a throwback as far as the intensity of that game. It was a game under 100 points, but the referees let them play. At times, it was some very horrible shooting. But at the end of the day, the Denver Nuggets just proved to be the better team. And that's what I said last week. The Nuggets were just better than the Miami Heat, who were very valiant. And another shout out, them getting to the finals. But I heard a lot of people from a lot of different platforms saying that the Heat was the best 8th seed to ever, that their 8th seed, they were better than the New York Knicks of 1999. I disagree with that for a couple reasons, because for one, technically, when the regular season ended, Miami Heat were not the 8th seed. They were the 7th seed. I said this a number of times. I don't like the play-in But if we have to deal with the play-in, I think the format is stupid of how that could affect a 7 seed. If you're going to do a play-in, I think it should only be 8 versus 9. No 7 seed should be all right, and the 10th seed, too damn bad. But be that as it may, it is what it is. The Miami Heat got to the NBA Finals. Jimmy Butler once again solidifies himself as an all-time great playoff performer. Unfortunately, he does not have a title to show for it, but has led 2 different Miami Heat teams, to the championship, and unfortunately it's come up short, but playoff Jimmy is definitely a real thing. As for the Denver Nuggets, I said this once they beat the Phoenix Suns. I don't think people have truly appreciated the dominance that the Nuggets really put on display during the playoffs. Nobody believed in them, and they were just one of those teams, and I said this on previous shows, you had to see it to believe it. Denver has had outstanding regular seasons for the last 5-6 years, but they would come up short in the playoffs. In 2018, they lost the 7th game at home to the Portland Trail Blazers in the second round of the playoffs. 2020, they made it to the conference finals in the bubble, but a lot of people discarded that because they're like, yeah, it was the bubble. Now, a lot of people put that bubble talk to rest about everybody because the conference finals this year featured the 4 teams that were in the bubble 3 years ago in 2020. The Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics, the Denver Nuggets, the Los Angeles Lakers. But again, nobody truly believed when the playoffs started. Very few people. I think the only person that I heard say that Denver was going to win it all as far as television was Jay Williams from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. He's the only one who said after the Milwaukee Bucks got eliminated, he said, well, you know what? I think the Nuggets are going to win it all. He's the only one I can remember saying that. Now, my homeboy Keese, Lil Bro Keese, no stranger to the show, Philadelphia Eagles fan. He's a Nuggets fan, and I called him, after they won the championship. I said, soak it up, bro. And he was just like, my Nuggets. We actually won. My Nuggets. Look, let me tell you something. There is no such thing as a bandwagon Denver Nuggets fan. There is no such thing as a bandwagon fan to any team that has never won a championship. If you are a brand new Phoenix Suns fan today, I will not call you a bandwagon fan on the strength of Phoenix has never won shit. They've never won a title. Whatever. You could be a fan of top-heavy teams or your favorite star player, whatever. But there ain't no such thing as a bandwagon Denver Nuggets fan. You may see some bandwagon Nuggets fans now.
Excellent.
Now that they've won. But I think the way people are reacting to the Nuggets winning the title, it's almost like people still don't believe it. People are still waiting for the Nuggets to get eliminated. And again, I don't think people really appreciated how dominant the Nuggets were through this playoff run. They took out Minnesota in 5. The only time they really actually had any pressure, really had to sweat, was in that second round series against Phoenix when the series was tied 2-2. And Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were putting up historic numbers through the first 4 games, especially Devin Booker. But they took the Suns out in 6. They swept the Lakers, and they gentlemen swept the Miami Heat. They went 16-4 in the playoffs, averaging 1 loss per series. That's pretty dominant. Jokic is now getting his flowers because he accomplished it. He had to go through the same trials and tribulations that Giannis Antetokounmpo had to go through as being a multiple-time league MVP, but falling short in the playoffs. This just happened a couple of years ago with Giannis. He won back-to-back MVPs, was getting bounced out in the playoffs, and they said, hey, you can't do it in the postseason. Jokic, back-to-back MVPs. You can't do it in the postseason. 2 years ago, Giannis shut everybody up. This year, Jokic shuts everybody up. Now, is it the brand of basketball that a lot of people in this day and age like to see from such a superstar player? Probably not, but you know what? I appreciate greatness. And to be honest with you, when I look at Jokic's game, because I was watching some old NBA on YouTube last night. That's what I be doing when I'm bored. When I watch the way Jokic plays, now his ability to run the offense, to me, reminds me of that of Arvydas Sabonis. But the way his actual game is played, he reminds me of Kevin McHale. I'm serious. I was watching this old Boston Celtics versus Charlotte Hornets playoffs from 30 years ago, And I was just watching Kevin McHale. I was like, damn, that looks so familiar. And really, Jokic plays, his game reminds me of Kevin McHale, at least down low, in the box, in the post. Now he can run the offense, but down low on the block, he reminds me of McHale. But I appreciate greatness. And I said this after the Nuggets got done with Phoenix. I said, they're the most complete team left in the playoffs. And again, I brought this up on the show before. When the Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors, as happy as I was and as shocked as I was, told my neighbor, Nuggets going to be a problem because they are the most well-balanced team left. They have the perfect size. They have the perfect skill position. And, you know, like most people, the Nuggets were dismissed because you hadn't seen them done it. We talking about the Lakers here. LeBron James, Anthony Davis. You know, they won the title in 2020 in the bubble. But, again, Lakers couldn't get a game off of them. They are a perfect blend of basketball. Well balanced. Let me tell you something. What people have to understand is people so badly want to do the small ball thing where you just shoot, live, die by the three. That has worked for one franchise. One. That has worked for one team and one team only, the Golden State Warriors, where you can play small ball, spread the floor out, and you just have two of the greatest shooters or the two greatest shooters ever. That's worked for just that one franchise. Has it worked for the Celtics? Nope. Did it work for any of Mike D'Antoni's teams, whether it was Phoenix before the Warriors, Houston? Nope. It's worked for one team. So that should tell you guys something, that if you have a 7-foot center and a 6'10 forward and a 6'8 forward and a 6'4 point guard and a 6'5 shooting guard, it still works. It still works, even in today's I want to shoot the three all day, every day NBA. It still works. And Nikola Jokic, now, I think some people are being prisoner of the moment when they're saying, hey, he may be the best skilled big man ever. Maybe. I would not pick Jokic over Shaq. I would not pick Jokic over Olajuwon. I wouldn't pick him over those guys. I couldn't do it. Now, would I pick Jokic over Patrick Ewing? Yeah. Would I pick Jokic over David Robinson? Reluctantly, probably yes. I would have to revisit that one, you know. But I'm not picking Jokic over Shaq or Olajuwon. I'm not picking him over Kareem. But again, this is not me hating on Jokic because I think he's remarkable. His game is going to age so gracefully because his game is not dependent upon athleticism. You know, his game is not dependent on athleticism, so he's going to go into the twilight in his career. He's only 28 years old. When he goes into the twilight in his career, it's going to be very graceful because his game is not above the rim. Now, let's talk about moving forward for the Denver Nuggets. Are they now the standard in the NBA, particularly the Western Conference? Are they gonna truly get respect for their championship, or are we gonna just be like, wow, congratulations, and then totally ignore the fact that you won a championship like the 2011 Dallas Mavericks? I think it's gonna be the first thing I said because this is still a very young team. Jokic is 28, Jamal Murray is 26. Michael Porter Jr. is 24. Aaron Gordon is 28. The nucleus of this team is under 30 years old. And now they have won it. Now they know what it's like to win. Now you're going to have a decision to make with Bruce Brown and KCP. I think that they're going to they'll probably let KCP go after next year unless he wants to come off the bench. You'll probably move Bruce Brown into that starting shooting guard position. He's a good 3-and-D guy. And he showed out, particularly in Game 4. And he's the one who made the huge bucket that eventually gave them the lead that they never succumbed to in Game 5 of the championship. So the Nuggets future looks bright. And now they know how to close the deal. They've won a championship. Now, excuse me, the funniest thing about the championship is how Jokic wanted no part of the celebration. He was just ready to get the fuck out of Dodge. He said in an interview, The job's done. We can go home.
Bye, bitch.
He interviewed when he got the MVP award. You know how after the trophy presentation, you have the main players come and sit down at the edge of the stage with the trophies and take pictures? He ain't want to do that. He ain't want to do none of that stuff. He just wanted to get the hell out of Dodge. And a lot of people was like, that may be bad for the brand because the best player, and people are going to recognize Jokic right now as the best player in the game. Like, the best player is not interested in, and promoting the game with winning a championship. But I mean, look, he said everybody hates their job. I'm like, damn. But again, that was funny to me, but the future of the Denver Nuggets is bright. Again, their nucleus is under 30. All the max contracts that they gave out has now been worth it. You signed Jamal Murray to a max deal, now it's worth it. You signed Michael Porter to a max deal, you can say it's worth it now because you got a title out the deal. Jokic, worth it. You're going to have to restructure some contracts, but if this team, stays together because they're still very young, you could see another title in the not too distant future, maybe another couple of titles. I'm not saying dynasty, but if this group stayed together for another 5 years and pulled out another 2 championships, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't. And now the next topic is, the NBA offseason, they're trying to hit hard like the NFL does. We have so much basketball to talk. Big news. First, starting off yesterday, Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards has been traded to the Phoenix Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and a host of second-round picks.
You niggas are crazy.
Now, I'm not mad at Ishbia, the new owner of the Phoenix Suns. He's a young and ambitious owner. He wants to make splashes. He wants to let everybody know that he's coming, that he means business, and he ain't fucking around, and he wants to win a title. What all of his moves, because, he's got Kevin Durant, and now he gets Bradley Beal. It kind of reminds me of the NBA version of the Los Angeles Rams. Fuck them draft picks. We going to go in and we going to be top heavy. Now, this trade right now at this moment does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. And I'll tell you why. And Chris Paul, just recently came out and said that he's surprised. He was surprised by getting traded. And he thinks that Isaiah Thomas has something to do with it because Isaiah Thomas has been employed by Ishbia as kind of a behind-the-scenes GM. Okay, be that. We'll take it for what it's worth. The trade doesn't do much for me right now because it doesn't address any of the Phoenix Suns' needs, particularly with depth on their bench and defense. Now, what it did do is, barring health, you won't have to run Kevin Durant, who will be 35 years old at the beginning of next season, and Devin Booker. You don't have to run those two into the ground the way you did in the playoffs, particularly in the Denver Nuggets series, because Bradley Beal is a scorer, and he will take some of that pressure off of Kevin Durant. So you solved that problem, but now you don't have a true point guard, unless you either A, are going to, make Devin Booker the point. I don't think Devin Booker's a natural point. I don't give a damn how good you can run the offense. Being able to run the offense and being a true point guard is two different things. Hell, Marcus Smart can run the offense for Boston. Did it get them a title? Nope. Now, Chris Paul is no longer there. Is Campaign your guy? Now, I don't know. This is what I think is going to happen. This is just my opinion. I could be dead wrong. I think DeAndre Ayton is going to get traded. I think Ayton is going to be out of there. I think DeAndre Ayton and that contract are going to get traded to free up some money, and I think the Phoenix Suns are going to go after James Harden. Now, if they're able to pull that off, now you've moved me a little bit, because James Harden is more of a true point guard than Devin Booker or Bradley Beal. Then instead of having a big three, you have a big four. You're still top heavy as shit, but maybe you can draft a couple of big bodies, or I don't know, because you really don't have any resources left if you're the Phoenix Suns, because you traded most of them for the Kevin Durant deal, and now you've given up Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, a good 3-and-D guy, and a host of second-round picks for the years to come. So your best chance to win a title with what you have now is this year. Maybe in the next 2 years, but I don't think so, because Kevin Durant ain't getting no younger. Bradley Beal is 29. He's getting ready to turn 30. He's been a little injury prone the last couple of years. Wasn't that way at the beginning of his career. Well, really through the majority of his career. The last couple of seasons he's been he's just been injury prone. But I think Phoenix's best chance to do it is this year. I think Ayton is out of there. And what their new coach, Frank Vogel, who was the Lakers coach when we won our last title in the bubble, what is his specialty? Frank Vogel's specialty is defense. Now you could keep DeAndre Ayton because he is 7'1". He is 16-10. You can't teach 7'1". But they question the motor, they question the intensity, they question the desire. And a lot of people believe that DeAndre Ayton is one of the main reasons why Monty Williams was fired. Now, if you keep DeAndre Ayton with KD, Book, and now Bradley Beal, again, who's your true point guard? Like I said, Devin Booker can run the offense. Good for you. Book, to me, is a scoring machine. Bradley Beal, at his best, was a scoring machine. You got offense covered. You have that covered. You had that covered before you made this trade. But I think, again, this is just my thought, I think they're going to trade DeAndre Ayton, try to get some assets back, and I think they're going to go after James Harden. I do. Only then, will I say, okay, Phoenix, because Phoenix is a contender already, but then I can say, hey, okay, Phoenix, yeah. But again, all boils down to health in this version of softest tissue NBA. Now let's talk about Chris Paul. Excuse me. Chris Paul. What is next for the 38-year-old future Hall of Fame point guard who is still chasing that elusive championship ring? I can tell you what, he's not staying in Washington. Even though I would say this, Chris Paul does his best work when he is the undisputed top dog on a team. Thus, look what he did in New Orleans. Eons ago, no, he was younger. Look what he did with the Clippers, Lob City. Look what he did most impressively to me with Oklahoma City 3 years ago in the bubble. When he was traded from Houston, everybody was like, oh man, Chris Paul went to OKC. OKC was a damn good team under his leadership. Now understand, 38 ain't 35. And Chris Paul wants to play for a contender. And all reports are saying that Chris Paul is going to end up playing for one of the LA teams. And I think it depends on whether, it's a buyout for his contract or whether he just gets outright waived by the Wizards. Because I'm pretty sure the Wizards know. The Wizards will probably try to convince him, hey, could you help develop a young player? Chris Paul probably ain't trying to hear that. All due respect, nah, I'm trying to chase the title. My family lives in LA. They've lived in LA since the time he was with the Clippers. First go round. Most people would probably say logical be the Lakers. Hey, LeBron's his best friend, godfather to his kids, blah, da, 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 da. Don't be so quick about that. Because it doesn't make sense for the Lakers if Chris Paul is not waived or bought out. That's too much money for a 38-year-old player who consistently gets injured when you need him the most, unfortunately. I was talking with my choir director about this last week. Yeah, Chris Paul would be an upgrade, of course, but Chris Paul also makes the Lakers older. If I'm the Lakers, I'm more or less, let's look at the Fred VanVleet route if we're moving off of D'Angelo Russell. Now the Clippers, now you look at Chris Paul with the Clippers. Of course, has the history. Here, that singular trade made the Clippers a relevant franchise over a decade ago, and they've been a relevant franchise ever since. Haven't been able to get over the hump, but they've been a relevant franchise since then. If you take the 2020 title from the Lakers, the Clippers have been the best team in Los Angeles since Chris Paul arrived there in 2011 or 2010. I think it was 2010. Yeah, I think it was 2011. But if I'm Chris Paul, and then this is strictly from a basketball sense, if I'm Chris Paul, I don't want to go to either LA team because you're looking at both LA teams. The superstar duos on each team are injury prone. They are injury prone. If you go to the Lakers, LeBron's gonna miss games because he's old. He'll have his nights where he's still LeBron and he's still a top 15, top 10 player in the league. I get it. I say that. LeBron's still a top 10 player in the league. But he's going to miss games because he'll be 39 years old next season. And Anthony Davis, we know what's up with that. His check engine light comes on any given moment. Any given moment. And Lord knows we don't need to say nothing about the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I feel so bad for Tyronn Lue because, the Clippers have had a championship roster the last 5 years, and they just can't stay healthy. You can't depend on Kawhi Leonard. Now, if you're the Clippers, if you can have Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook, now you're working with something. Because if one thing people tried to shit on Russell Westbrook the last couple of years because of the way he played with the Lakers, but you saw how he was when he was with the Clippers. And one thing Russell Westbrook is going to do, he's going to be available. That's the most important thing in this game, baby. Availability. So, if you telling me that the Clippers can have Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook, then I'm saying, yeah, go back to the Clippers. But if I'm Chris Paul, I'm seeing what I can do. We're talking about strictly basketball, strictly trying to get a championship. I'm going to see if I can end up in Milwaukee. I'm going to see what do I have to do to end up in Milwaukee. I would say Philadelphia, but Embiid, even though he just won the MVP, he an injury risk too. I would see what can I do to end up with Giannis and Middleton and not have to part ways with Jrue Holiday. That I said this 3 years ago when after the bubble. I was like, Chris Paul needs to go to Milwaukee. Now, he went to Phoenix, and oddly enough, the next season played Milwaukee in the finals. But I would still see what's good with that train, with that Milwaukee Bucks train, if you're chasing a championship, because there are two infirmaries in Los Angeles, both of them in the Crypt or the Staples Center, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Injury-prone Lakers, injury-prone Clippers. Injury-prone and old Lakers and Clippers. I would go the Milwaukee Bucks route because Giannis wants to be great. I'm not saying these other players don't want to be great, but Giannis has tasted that championship at Chris Paul's expense, oddly enough. But I think that would be a perfect match made in heaven. Because when the Bucks get into those situations late in games where they kind of struggle for offense, Chris Paul can direct you there. He is an orchestrator on the floor. Make no mistake about it. But yes, Bradley Beal for Chris Paul. Let's see where that domino falls. Next thing I want to talk about is Zion Williamson. Now, he was the subject of my segment of They Beefing, but now I'm strictly talking basketball. Because because afterwards, after the aftermath of the personal stuff with Zion about the baby mama and the porno star, whatever, now the New Orleans Pelicans you're starting to hear the rumors. Do they want to trade? Should they trade Zion Williamson? And here's my answer. Hell yes. Biatch. I would trade his ass so fast. Zion Williamson, we know how spectacular he is when he is on the basketball court. Kid is special when he's on the basketball court. But he has missed 64% of the New Orleans Pelicans games since he was drafted in 2019. Are you serious? Zion Williamson and Kawhi Leonard are the worst players to have superstar label attached to them. These dudes don't play. Zion Williamson, you sign him to a 9-figure deal for what? For him to put on dunk shows during warm-up lines and then sit his ass down in street clothes because he don't feel like Zion? No, bruh. I would trade him quick because he doesn't play. Like, he is spectacular when he plays. But his style of play, with his lack of conditioning, with the fact, and he's probably never going to say this publicly, with the fact that I don't believe he wants to be in New Orleans, but I think he's going about this all the wrong way. I would trade him. I would trade him very quickly because, again, Since 2019, he's missed 64% of his games. He only played 29 games this year. When Zion was playing, New Orleans was around the 1 or 2 spot in the Western Conference. And you missed the rest of the season because of a hamstring? What? Now, make no mistake about it. I'm not the athlete. I get it. But, I mean, goodness gracious, it's just a laundry list, and then we got to find out about your personal business. Why is that the reason why you're missing so many damn games? Look, I'm not trying to put on my Stephen A. hat. I watch basketball, and when you're not available, if I was an owner, why the hell would I want to pay you? That's why I say I could not be an owner in today's NBA, because I would be asking people for my fucking money back. Or I would be paying you on a game-to-game basis. You'll be getting a check on a game-to-game basis. If you can't play, I ain't gonna pay. Fuck all that. I'm not gonna sit there and pay you $40 million a year to spend more time in the training room than on the basketball court. Fuck out of here. The hell I look like Boo-Boo the Fool? But these owners do it all the time. I would trade him. Now, look, who gonna trade for him? That's what I want to know. Because that 64% of missing games, everybody know that. That's no secret. So who gonna trade for him? I want to know that. I mean, now there will be somebody who will do it. But if you're New Orleans and you're David Griffin, you're not gonna get the amount of value that you would hope, because again, his best ability ain't his availability. His best ability is the ability to eat and not play. That's been his best ability. And apparently have sex with porn stars, whatever. Whatever your personal business, go ahead. But I say this, I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to attack him or tear him down. I love seeing him on the basketball court, but we don't see him on the motherfucking basketball court. And that gets on my nerves. It really does. Oh, it's so much basketball to talk about today. Oh my goodness. And with that being said, you know it's a podcast Monday, so much NBA to talk about, and I got brother Calvin. Maybe we might get a few more callers on the line. We'll see. But right now, it is brother Calvin. What up, dude?
What's going on?
You, man, how was your Father's Day?
It was all right. It was cool. I ain't do much. How was yours?
I ain't do much. Well, you know, went mutual friend, you know, invited us to the pool. Good looking. You know, it was a good lookout because I ain't had nothing planned. Oh, yes, and yes. Shout out to you, Puma. You know, you the truth. Made my kids Sunday, made me and my kids Sunday for the second straight week. Definite shout out. But dude, I know we usually talk, huh?
I'll tell you on Father's Day, if you anytime you Father's Day you don't do much, that's a victory. Because if they do something, if it's Father's Day and they do a lot for you, some people just waiting on you to die.
Oh shit! What?
They do it up on Father's Day. If you're supposed to have a mundane, melancholy Father's Day. That's how they know you. You know what I'm saying? It's just tradition. That's all. It ain't like Mother's Day. Mother's Day, you got all the bells and whistles. You are the love of my life, all that. And what's so? And good and rightfully so. But Father's Day, it's like and it's supposed to be. If you get an Father's Day, you good. But if you do it up, they waiting for you to die.
Well, damn. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. On my dad's side of the family, every Father's Day they used to have this big cookout to celebrate my grandfather, who's no longer here, my Uncle Michael, and my dad. You know, they used to have a huge Father's Day cookout.
Granddaddy was a prominent leader in this. He was a community leader on it.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
He had a good little bit amount of money too, right?
I don't never get in my family finances, but he was a community leader. He got a street named after him.
Okay. Yeah, they was waiting on. I hate to say it, they was plotting on him.
I know. You know why I'm not going to go there? Because this was a yearly thing. It was a yearly. I mean, Father's Day was always huge on my dad's side of the family. And it's more now shift. I mean, well, you never shift to Mother's Day, because I said this when the show first started. We always put more effort into Mother's Day. You know, we don't give the fathers the true credit that we deserve. And I say fathers, because if you just fit that baby daddy mold, you need to tighten up, because that means you ain't shit.
Well, it is what it is, because think about it. If you got a good mama, you got a good mama, and a lady's doing what she's supposed to do, and you don't show her a good Mother's Day, she's gonna feel some type of way. She's not gonna stop what she's doing, but she's gonna feel some type of way. As a dude, you don't get a good Father's Day. It's like, well, shit.
Yeah, personally, I could have gave two shits. My plan for Father's Day was really just to do what I was doing up until we went to the pool. Sit in the house, relax. I played some board games with the kids, played some video games. I ain't planning on doing nothing.
Yeah, even shit. That's how we are, Dad. We that's how father's supposed to be. On my birthday, nigga, you know what I do on my birthday?
What?
I do shit for them. I do shit for my kids.
Well, that's a parent, man.
Yeah, because see, they twins, so they gonna always have to share their birthday. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
yep.
Like, man, they got to share, but they got two of them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I know that's,
Bro, you know what I'm gonna do this year on my birthday?
What?
Work. My birthday's on a Wednesday.
My birthday it will always be around on Memorial Day.
Yep.
They be like, you working on? Hell yeah, that's double time and a half.
Yeah, because we called you on your birthday and you was working.
Work.
Yeah. I hate to work on my birthday, but any plans I had for my birthday was scrapped when the thing with Amazon fell through, and I had to make sure that I was good on the crib front, which is all good. But yeah, so I'm like, it is what it is. Plus, my birthday's on a Wednesday, so I could celebrate the weekend before and the weekend after. But then 10 days after my birthday is the fight, nigga.
Yeah. And those fights are the only thing worth, the only thing on my own, I be looking, you know what I'm saying, worth, because like, like your birthday and shit, nigga, I get fucked up every day. It's I get fucked up. I get fucked up every day. I ain't thinking, the last time I was scared. I was like, damn, I must have sounded horrible on that jank. Because Brandon, we used to get messed up.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
We have done enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I know everybody, each generation. I be looking at these kids, them nowadays, like, yeah, we doing this. I'm like, shit, man, we drink out under the table.
Under the table. We drink them under the fucking carpet.
It's rated TikTok. The shit, nigga, we was drinking, you could clean with. We was up the next day.
Hell yeah.
At work. You know what I'm saying? At work. We was drinking scum of the earth.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Everything TikTok, kill. That shit ain't nothing for real. Y'all ain't drinking nothing for real.
Y'all ain't drinking nothing. Fuck with this Castillo rum, nigga. Bottom shelf. I don't give a fuck. It's been working for me for the last 17 years, nigga.
Yeah, you ever seen that Eddie Griffin jump when he says granddaddy would sit on the porch?
Hell yeah, and drink a shot of Jack Daniels, set the bottle down, and then piss on himself.
He said, damn, granddaddy. He said, my piss, my porch.
Nigga, if I'm gonna piss, that's what the fuck I'ma do. Where the hell your daddy at anyway? Black motherfucker.
Yeah, well, now we won't piss on ourselves, but...
No, we won't piss on ourselves, but we was pissy drunk.
Yeah, we knew exactly what he was drinking and how he was feeling.
Man, I know it's been some times where you saw my ass slumped. Like, nigga, I can't move. Like, get up, nigga, I can't move.
No, not really. You know your shit really well. Not really. Plus, we was always at your crib, so if you felt you...
Oh, that's right, yeah.
You won't slump about 5 minutes.
You wasn't around me in my early 20s. My late teens and my early 20s.
Oh, you got it down to a science by the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He was more interested in getting everybody else around you.
Bro, when I was 19, 20, 21, I was that nigga who you could bank on was going to be passed out in the middle of the flow. And I'm not saying that to brag about it, because I've come a long way.
That nigga Damon was, man. That nigga Damon used to get slithered. Oh, man. You know how many times I had to carry this little nigga from to and fro? That nigga used to get ripped. You remember Damon, don't you?
Of course. My boy. But anyway, we done totally gone off topic. Okay. NBA is the topic of today's show. The main topic, anyway. What is your thoughts of the Bradley Beal Chris Paul trade?
Does the NBA not like Chris? Why they don't like Chris Paul? It's like, man, that's good for the Sonics. That's good for the I'm about to say the Sonics. That's good for the Suns. It ain't necessarily good for Chris Paul. It's like, nigga, you will never get a ring. He pissed somebody off, Jack. Like, the Wizards is kind of like, remember in the early 2000s? I mean, well, not the early 2000s, but the
early 2000s when they had Gilbert Arenas and Antoine Jameson and them. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the year, but remember the mid 2000s to the almost 10. That was like kind of like the Raiders were. Remember how the Raiders, like, they sent you to the Raiders? Nigga, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, that's not a fair comparison to the Wizards, because in the early 2000s when they had Gilbert Arenas and Antoine Jameson and Brendan Hayward, they were a consistent playoff team. And then, when they had John Wall and Bradley Beal around 2016, 2017, 2018, they were a legit contender. But I see what you're...
I'm not comparing them to the Wizards around that time. I'm comparing somebody sending you to the Wizards in this present time.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
Raiders.
Yeah, they would say you were sent to football purgatory. People are getting now sent to the Raiders to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you this. He's not going to stay with the Wizards.
But he got 1 year left?
No. He had 1 year left. I think it was really a financial thing, part of it, because he was supposed to make like an astronomical amount of money this year. So how do you, so you think the trade is better for Phoenix?
Yeah.
Now, explain to me why.
I think you can give. I think at this point, right now, Bradley Beal is a better player than Chris Paul. I think. I mean, if I'm wrong, you sitting to tell me, but that's just how I feel. Now, I'm not saying like he's gonna be some type of all-star like worldwide, but if I was Phoenix, I feel like I got the better end of the deal than the Wizards. What else did they trade him? What else did they give him?
Well, they got Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and a slew of second-round picks for the years to come. Now, Bradley Beal, as far as if you're going to put one individual basketball player against another, yes, Bradley Beal is a better basketball player right now than Chris Paul, but Chris Paul is a more valuable basketball player.
How so?
Huh?
What you mean?
Who is Phoenix's pure point guard? Who is he?
Okay.
Now, Devin Booker can run the offense, but there's a difference between running the offense and being a pure point guard. Marcus Smart can run the offense for the Boston Celtics, but that doesn't make him a point guard. He hasn't won them any championships. Now, Chris Paul ain't got no titles neither. Now, what it does for the Phoenix Suns is, you're once again top heavy. They just got a new owner, Ishbia, young dude. Was on the Michigan State 2000 national championship team. To me, what he's reminding me of is the Phoenix Suns right now are the NBA's version of the Los Angeles Rams. Fuck them picks. We're going to go out and get big names. They went out, they got Kevin Durant. They traded a bunch of picks for Kevin Durant. Now you trade a bunch of picks for Bradley Beal. You already got Devin Booker. You got DeAndre Ayton. But you won't have but with this trade, they didn't solve any of their actual needs as a basketball team. What they need is more depth on their bench, and they need defense. Now, what they did solve with this trade, to me, they lost to the Nuggets in 6 games. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were logging 45 minutes a game because your bench wasn't producing anything. Chris Paul was hurt, as he tends to be during the playoffs. You solved that issue because Bradley Beal's a scorer. His game and Devin Booker's game are very similar. So you don't have to log those guys 45 minutes because you've added another 23, 24-point-a-game scorer. You solved that problem.
But if he tends to be hurt in the playoffs, how is he a more valuable player?
Well, Bradley Beal's never in the playoffs. There's a difference.
Okay, so would you take somebody who's never been to somebody who tends to be hurt during?
I'm not saying that Bradley Beal has never been, but over the last 5-6 years, I think the Wizards have been to the playoffs once. That was 2 years ago when they had Russell Westbrook as their point guard. And Chris Paul was just in the finals 2 years ago. So there's a stark difference in it. You know, there's a difference. But the reason why this, you know, I just told you why this trade for Phoenix doesn't move me. But I think I maybe this is just my opinion on where I believe they're going with this trade.
Mm-hmm.
I believe their center, DeAndre Ayton, I believe he's going to get traded. He just signed a huge contract last offseason.
Mm-hmm.
But he's underperformed, to say the least.
Right.
I believe he's going to get traded so you can free up some money and you can maybe get some draft picks or some assets back. I think Phoenix is going to go after James Harden as well. Now, you pull that off. Now, James Harden is more of a pure point guard than Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant all put together.
No, I get it.
And it makes sense. Well, people don't understand and say, well, James Harden, why would, I mean, James Harden, one, a lot of people don't know, in the offseason, his offseason home is actually in Phoenix. He went to Arizona State. He knows the area, and he wants to win a title. James Harden could go back to Houston and get $250 million, but he knows he ain't winning shit.
Yeah,
he
might go back.
If he goes back to Houston, it's strictly for the money. If he wants to win a title, he may try to find himself in Phoenix.
All right.
Now, if they pull that off, now, okay, you still. I don't know what you're gonna do about your depth and your size.
So let me ask you this: what if, you know what I'm saying? I know you say that they didn't solve a lot of shit, but what if they get I know what his position is, but he can run off. What if they get Draymond Green? Then what would that look like? Because he's leaving.
You think so?
Do I think so?
Yeah.
I think he's leaving. I bet you $2.70.
You said what? You bet what?
I bet you $2.75 he leaving.
Hold that thought. I'm about to call Tony on three-way. Real Nigga Podcast, bro. I'm trying to tell you. Real Nigga Podcast. That's what we do. Sports plus life. We ain't playing no games. Every time I call Tony, he said, you got the worst timing in the world. Every time. Come on, answer the phone. There he is. Calvin, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I understand I may have the worst timing, brother, and we are live. We are on wax. I understand I got the worst timing, but today's show is geared around the NBA, and I needed one of my pure basketball heads on the line. How you doing, bro?
I'm okay.
You good?
Yeah.
And again, Calvin is on the line as well.
Yo, what's up? What's up? What's going on?
Okay, we're talking about the Chris Paul, Bradley Beal trade. I'm going to hop right into it. What are your thoughts on that trade?
Nobody cares. Unless you're a Phoenix fan. Then maybe you care. But as it's going to be questionable, it's a questionable fit for Phoenix. You know, I don't think they're a super team. But it's a questionable fit for Phoenix. It's even more questionable for Washington because that's the best you could do. You know, you gave boatload of money, then you're going to throw in a no-trade clause, and then you get a dude away for some Planet peanuts. But, you know, it is what it is. In terms of Chris Paul, he'll get bought out, and he'll do what, you know, somebody in his position probably should do is just, you know, take a paycheck to go somewhere with a potential contender. I don't know how strong the market for him will be, considering, you know, Kyle Lowry. I don't know how strong the market for Paul, but somebody will sign him.
Well, I'm going to get into Chris Paul in a second. Now, what me and Calvin were just talking about I told Calvin that the trade didn't move me because Phoenix didn't address any of their actual needs as far as depth for their bench and defense. To me, the only thing that they addressed was you're not going to need to log Devin Booker and Kevin Durant 45 minutes a game because Bradley Beal is a pure scorer. Now, to me, where I think the Phoenix Suns are trying to go with this, and I'm not mad at their new owner, Ishbia, for swinging for the fences. I just told Calvin, I said, he's kind of, Phoenix right now reminds me of, they're like an NBA version of the Los Angeles Rams. Fuck them draft picks. We're going for top-heavy names. Where I actually think that Phoenix is trying to go, I think Ayton is gonna get traded. I think they're gonna also try to trade Ayton, get some compensation back, because I think they're going to try to target James Harden to go along with Durant, Booker, and Beal. Then maybe you got something. What do you think of that?
I don't think you got nothing. If that's your goal, you ain't got nothing. Because Harden, Harden is Harden. So you're not getting much in the way of that if you do add that on. And then the other thing with Bill that no one talks about is that dude been kind of a mash unit lately.
Well, he's been injury prone the last 2 or 3 years. But the reason why I say Harden is because I asked Calvin this question. Now, he thinks that Phoenix got the better end of the deal, but I said, who's Phoenix's pure point guard now? Devin Booker can make you running an offense and being a point guard is two totally different things. Marcus Smart can run the offense, but that doesn't make him a point guard. So, and I think if
Cam ain't a point guard neither, for real.
Well, campaign.
Yeah.
Right. And so I said that Harden is a more pure point guard than Durant, Booker, and Beal combined. Because then let's say they keep DeAndre Ayton, and it'll still ask that question: who is your pure point guard?
They want one.
Huh?
They might feel like they don't need one. They just need somebody to run the offense. You can run these days basketball. You can run the offense to any position, right?
It takes us. No, look, you can try, but everybody ain't Jokic. Everybody's not Draymond Green. Because
that was the other thing I was gonna say. They can make the moves and they can get the hard, but in the big picture, Denver is the target, and you ain't got nothing for that size.
Nope.
Nothing for that size.
Nope.
Right. Nobody got nothing. Nope. Not many people got anything for that size.
And I was saying this earlier before we all got on the phone. I said Denver's future actually looks bright because the nucleus of that team is under 30.
Yeah.
Jokic is 28. Jamal Murray is 26. Michael Porter Jr. is 24. Aaron Gordon is 28. I'm not saying dynasty, but if within the next 5 or 6 years, if Denver won 2 more championships, I wouldn't be surprised. And you know who Jokic plays like? Tony, I don't know if you would appreciate this or not. You know who Jokic plays like down low in the box?
Who?
Kevin McHale. I was watching some.
Yeah, but no.
No, I said down low in the box. I didn't say running the offense. I'm talking about down low in the box. I was watching some old ass basketball on YouTube last night, and it was Charlotte versus Boston playoff series from 30 years ago, and I was watching Kevin McHale work Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning, and this is when they were young, fresh in the league, and just the way, the type of shots he was taking, his footwork, it reminded me of Jokic down low in the box, not running the offense, because I already told you he reminds me of Sabonis in that regard, but his game, that game that's not dependent on athleticism, that will age well, that's who he reminded me of.
Yeah, you put it that way, I might agree.
Now, let's talk about Chris Paul, because Calvin said that the NBA gods don't. What did you say, Calvin?
I asked why the NBA don't like Chris Paul. That's all. That's all. It's like he will never like. He will. It just seems like they just don't like the cat. That's all. All the way back when they got rid of that fucking they vetoed that trade. Remember they vetoed that trade for the Lakers?
Of course.
Okay,
I ain't gonna go there. Chris Paul had a shot. He had a legitimate shot. Him and Harden, he had a legitimate shot, but he got hurt. They should have beaten Golden State.
He had a more legitimate shot a couple of years later with Phoenix. They were in the finals, up 2-0.
Yeah,
and the thing about the whole trade, from what I understand, Bradley Beal's agent, his agent has a son who is the CEO of, or he's somewhere in the front office of the Phoenix Suns.
Well, Chris Paul actually, and this report just came out today. Chris Paul thinks Isaiah Thomas had something to do with him getting traded.
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas, the legend, not the Boston Celtics, a small guy. Isaiah Thomas is like a behind-the-scenes GM hired by Phoenix Suns' new owner. They're cool. They've been cool. Yeah, so he thinks that Isaiah Thomas had something to do with him getting traded. But, okay, Chris Paul...
What you gonna do?
There ain't nothing you can do.
Like, what you gonna do?
I'm just saying the dude's had some bad luck.
Well, put it this: Chris Paul is not gonna play for the Wizards. Let's just make that clear. He's not gonna play for the Wizards. He'll either get bought out or outright released, outright waived. So they're asking, where should Chris Paul go? Now, what everybody is saying that it's going to be either one of the LA teams, the Lakers or the Clippers, because one, his family lives in Los Angeles. They've lived in Los Angeles ever since he was a Clipper the first go-round. So you're talking about over a decade that they're living in Los Angeles. Now,
the Clippers.
Huh?
Clippers.
Well, let me compare and contrast first of all. If Chris Paul, a lot of people are saying the Lakers, but if it comes to the two LA teams, Tony, I'm with you. I think the Clippers. But if you're the Lakers, they will only try to pursue Chris Paul if he's a free agent. They're not going to trade for him. It's too much money. Chris Paul makes you, while he gives you an upgrade at the pure point guard position, he still makes you older. Now, I would say Clippers only for this one, but only one reason would I say Clippers. If you can have him and Russell Westbrook on that team, because here's the one common denominator with both LA teams. Their set of superstars get hurt too damn much. Can you depend on LeBron because of his age now to play a lot? You know Anthony Davis's engine light comes on any given moment. And Kawhi and Paul George, they don't play. At least Kawhi, they don't play. Yeah. So the only reason why I would say Clippers over Lakers is only if Russell Westbrook is still on the Clippers. Because if there's one thing Russell Westbrook is going to give you, his availability. You can talk all of that shit you want to about the way he performed as a Laker. I'm a Laker fan, and then I was like, you knew what you was getting before you got him. But as soon as he put on that Clipper uniform, he turned back into Oklahoma City Russell Westbrook. Now, now this is, to me, this is purely from a basketball standpoint. If I'm Chris Paul, I'm not looking at either Lakers or Clippers. If I'm Chris Paul and I want my best shot at the championship, it's not with those two infirmaries known as the Los Angeles teams. I'm trying to see what I can do to get to Milwaukee and play with Giannis and Middleton and Holiday. That from a pure basketball standpoint, that's where I would look. Because you ain't winning no. I think you would have, if you go into an LA team, I think you have a better chance winning with the Clippers, just because, more or less because of Anthony Davis's health status. But I would say Clippers only if Westbrook is there, because if there's no Westbrook, I ain't going to the Clippers neither, because Kawhi Leonard is worse than fucking Anthony Davis when it comes to health.
He's not going to the Lakers because that's more the same. LeBron, they didn't do the whole high this transfer before. They're not going to fly. They ain't going to let this shit fly again.
Well, what do you think of that, Tony?
I think that every dollar the Lakers have, they need to devote to Rui and Reeves if they gonna keep them dudes and let Chris Paul go to the other LA team. Like you said, it fits them better. Westbrook can slide to the 2. The Clippers are just a better look for him overall.
Westbrook can slide to the 2, and you can do your small ball if you want to. If you want to move Paul George to the 3 and Kawhi to the 4, or even if somebody has to come off the bench, like I said, Westbrook will. Let's keep it real. Even if Westbrook started the season coming off the bench, you know Westbrook is going to start the majority of the game because you can't depend on Kawhi Leonard. Period. You can't depend on him. Chris Paul, he makes the Lakers better at point guard, but he makes them older too. If I'm the Lakers, I'm looking at Fred VanVleet. That's what I'm looking at. But if I'm Chris Paul, I'm trying to get to Giannis. And Middleton and Holiday. That's who I'm trying to go to. Because in tough times with the other outside of the Bucks championship year, in late game situations when they have problems with offenses because nobody can direct them to the correct spots on the floor. Chris Paul is an orchestrator. You don't need that in LA. You got LeBron. You don't need that with the Clippers. You got Westbrook. Say what you want about Westbrook. He's a damn good point guard. He knows how to run an offense. And he knows how to run an offense at a point guard's mentality, not just, hey, bring the ball up the floor and let's start the triangle offense. So that's me. If I'm Chris Paul, I'm trying to get to Giannis. I would say Philadelphia, but Embiid is injury risk too.
Yeah, pretty much.
But not like I like the other boys you're talking about.
No, absolutely not. No.
I mean,
He's Maxey a little bit, and you don't want that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think Drew Holiday would have a problem if Chris Paul came on that team. I mean, because for one, he got a championship at his expense, oddly enough. But, I mean, Milwaukee should have won the shit. I mean, there are holes in Milwaukee's game that Chris Paul could clean up, and he wouldn't even have to log those type of minutes to do so. But, okay, let me get to the next subject. Should the should the Pelicans trade Zion Williamson? Tony, I'll start with you. Should they trade him?
They absolutely should. They absolutely should. If the Knicks or whatever, if you can get, I'm going to say if you get 85 cents on the dollar for Zion at this point, I take it. I take it and run with it. Hell, I might take 75 cents.
Calvin, what do you think? Should they trade Zion Williamson?
I don't think it's a question of if they should. It's a matter of where they're gonna trade him to. He's gone. With that trade you was talking about with the Wizards, who sent the second round picks to who? To the Wizards?
No, the Phoenix sent the second round picks to the Wizards. Yeah.
Oh, so what if you get Chris Paul and you get Zion Wilson in Washington? What that team look like?
They ain't going nowhere. Because you're talking again. As bad as I say Anthony Davis is, Kawhi Leonard and Zion Williamson are the two worst players in the NBA to have superstar tag to their name. They don't play. Zion Williamson does not play. He's missed 64% of the games that the Pelicans have had since they drafted him.
Right.
He does not play.
Right.
And they gave him a 9-figure contract so he can put on dunk contests before the game and then sit in street clothes because I don't feel like Zion. Was it the porn star who made you not feel like Zion?
There you go with the porn star.
I'm serious. If I'm an owner, I don't want to hear that shit. And you can't even play half a season. Not a whole season. You can't even play half of a season. And I'm paying you $189 million? Have you lost your fucking mind?
But Zion looks like a force of nature when he plays.
Zion looks spectacular when he plays. But he don't play enough.
He look like a force of nature once a year, too.
I be saying this, and people think I be trying to be funny, bro. Zion Williamson need to go to the big three, man. Serious. So does Kawhi Leonard. You play once a week. That's it. Once a week, half court. That's it. I'm serious. I would trade him too, but it's like, who gonna dance with you? Because apparently New Orleans wants to move up so they can draft this guy Scoot Henderson or what's the boy from Alabama? Brandon Miller. And to be honest with me personally, I would draft Brandon Miller number 1. Let me put myself on the record right now and say this. I would not draft Victor Wembanyama number 1 overall. I would not do it. The reason why, I don't like the body type. 7'5" spaghetti noodle. I would not draft that dude. He's the biggest draft prospect since LeBron. They said that about Zion Williamson 4 years ago. How that's working?
Well.
7'5" spaghetti noodle. I don't like the body type and the way he moves. Look, people love the Euro step is a pop knee waiting to happen. I don't want to see nobody who's 7. Huh?
Let me be clear on him, though. You got to be fair to that dude. Yeah, he's built how he's built. If he doesn't have the injury bug thing, he is the skill set that Porzingis has. He got that dish on steroids.
I know he does, but when you're 7'5" and you're built like a spaghetti noodle, you know what type of injuries happen to you? 7'5" injuries, because Porzingis is a beast when he's healthy. But how often is he healthy? I'm not saying this to knock the kid because he can ball. I'm not saying that he won't be a good player and make a couple of all-star games. Me personally, I just would not draft him number 1 because I don't think he's going to be durable enough in the long run. But of course, the Spurs are.
NBA? I don't know about
No, especially in today's NBA.
Bobo hasn't gotten hurt yet, has he?
Bobo don't play. Bobo's a third stringer. Bobo don't play. They talking about this kid being a superstar. Tony, now you know that. How much run does Bobo actually see?
Well, you got a point there.
Exactly. I mean, Mo Bamba, he don't play. You know, these dudes are these guys are 7 foot tree twigs. They don't get no run like that, and they talk about Wembanyama being the next great player. And I'm not saying he's not going to be a good, potentially multiple-time All-Star. I don't like the body type for the time period. I mean, because I understand that this is a three-point shooting NBA, but 7'5" injuries are going to happen to a 7'5" skinny dude. Ask Porzingis.
Well, you can ask Anthony Davis. When if you're talking about how you gonna be hurt, then I understand it. But Anthony Davis was a spaghetti noodle when he came.
No, he wasn't a spaghetti noodle like this dude.
And Kevin Durant was kind of skinny too.
See, Kevin Durant's always been like that. Kevin Durant doesn't play a physical brand of game like this dude is going to eventually have to play. I know he doesn't play it now, but eventually he's going to have to play a physical type of game. Look at the dude that the Oklahoma City Thunder just drafted last year, Chet Holmgren. Damn near the same height, same body type. Couldn't make it through Summer League, bro. Couldn't make it through Summer League before he had a season-ending injury. To me, it's strictly the body type. Now, San Antonio is going to draft him. Too many ties to the French national team. Tony Parker, Boris Diaw, Pop was their coach. Of course they're going to draft him. This is just my personal opinion. I wouldn't. I'm not saying that he's not going to be a good player. I would draft Brandon Miller first. That's just me.
Well, the game always evolves, and they always look down. They always look at what the pros are doing, and right now the pros are just being fucking injured. So
do you know why so many players are injured now? It's because of the way the game is played. I mean, straight up. Tony, would you agree or disagree with that?
I don't know what to make of the way the game is played. I just know these Negroes is tissue paper. They like wet tissue paper. They just have no durability, and they get hurt on routine athletic things, not even contact injuries. There are a lot of soft tissue injuries going on in the NBA. It's just what it is.
I believe the way the game is played with the spacing of the floor, with everything being three-point or bust, is the reason why we see these soft tissue injuries. You have to cover a lot of ground a lot faster. And I said this earlier in the show, one team has been consistently winning with that style of basketball. One, that is it. Golden State has been the only team that's been able to win with small ball, live by the three, die by the three. No one else. Everybody, and sports, not just the NBA, sports is a copycat world, and everybody's going to try to copy that that blueprint, but it doesn't work. What's meant for one team ain't meant for you. The Denver Nuggets are a perfect example. The Denver Nuggets' size and their lineup and the way they play ball is that of a team of 20 years ago. And you see it still works.
It does. That's why I was asking the other day when I was like, the fundamentals of their position, because the game went so far away from that. A nigga show up with a handful of that, a good amount of that, and it's just can't nobody deal with it.
Well, I mean, Jokic is, he's a unicorn. Now, I think people have been prisoner of the moment as far as them saying, well, he may, they want to rank him, and now I'm not knocking Jokic, but they're saying he may be the most skilled big man ever. Maybe that may be coming to fruition. But as of right now, I would not take Jokic over Hakeem Olajuwon or Shaq.
I was gonna say, I think if I had to be honest and say Jokic, he arguably is the most skilled in every facet. However, he is playing in an era where he has no legitimate peer. If you put him in the era with Hakeem, he got 5 peers.
Hakeem, Shaq, Ewing,
that will
Robinson,
on him and force him to play legitimate defense.
Right, and that's not the strong suit of his game.
Right, and then you'll see the flaws. Then you'll see the cracks in his game.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I believe that Hakeem Olajuwon, and that would be a great matchup because of both of their specific skill sets. I believe Hakeem Olajuwon would smoke his boots.
Well, he would because of the defensive side.
Yep, exactly.
The killing.
Yep. Exactly. I believe Shaq would smoke his boots.
Because a slow-footed white boy, I mean, he's still a slow-footed white boy, and Hakeem had the best footwork, arguably, in the NBA ever. Arguably. So, yeah, and then from a Shaq standpoint, that's just pure power.
Yeah.
Coming at him. And so, yeah, you still going to have Jokic at the top of the key.
Absolutely.
Jokic thing.
Yeah, see, the good part about Jokic against those other centers is that he would take them out of the key, out of the paint.
Right.
That would be the advantage he would have.
And then it's still, even that, it's that Golden State argument. What era are we playing in?
Yep.
Because if you're playing in that area, you can put your hands on Jokic. You can move him off his spot in terms of delivering the ball.
Yep. Absolutely. Plus the fact that, in the era of the centers we just named, when we talk about defense, yeah, Jokic would take Shaq or Olajuwon or Robinson or Ewing out of the paint, but in all of those teams, their power forwards were also legitimate shot blockers. I mean, because people forget that on those 2 Houston championship teams, Robert Horry was a great shot blocker.
Well, taking them out of the paint in some of them cases is kind of a moot point. Just like on the other end of the floor, it didn't matter you were like slightly outside the paint. These are jump shots that Hakeem, David Robinson, all these dudes can hit.
Yep.
So,
the only one who couldn't hit the jump shot like that was Shaq. But again, brute force. I mean, the thing is, all of those centers could have Jokic in foul trouble within the first 6 minutes of a game. Even if you put Duncan on Jokic, and they played briefly together. I mean, against each other, I mean. But Jokic wasn't. But, I mean, this is not a knock on Jokic because I respect greatness. And the playoff run that Jokic had was great. It was great. To me, the funniest thing about it was his lack of enthusiasm in celebrating.
Yeah, well, then his wife got hit with a beer can out of face.
Damn. We don't know how to celebrate in America no more. But like 20 people got shot in Denver the night they won the championship celebrating.
Yeah, he offensively, and just in terms of that, to do for his size, for his position, he's a savant. So you can't argue that. However, again, you have no legitimate peer right now. You just don't.
So basically, we just agree that he's doing phenomenal work, but he's a blast from the past. It's not like he's not doing it we haven't seen before. It's just they haven't did it like that in a long time.
Well, let's put it this way. The finals would have been a whole lot more interesting if it had been Milwaukee or Philadelphia playing Denver.
But they can't. But neither one of them. The thing about it is they can match him offensively, but they can't do that with him defensively either.
I'm just saying, I'm talking about the one-on-one effect, because to me, what nobody has said, Bam Adebayo actually played very well in the finals.
Yeah, that's because Jokic's defense is questionable.
Right, and exactly. So if his defense is questionable on Bam, imagine Embiid or Giannis.
And then the other problem with Jokic is Bam was killing on offensive boards.
Yep.
He was killing on offensive boards.
Huh?
Who's Miami's point guard right now?
Gabe Vincent and Kyle Lowry coming off the bench. They're trying to make a push at Dame Lillard. Which brings me to my next question. Draymond Green. What's going to happen with Draymond Green? Calvin, you go first.
He's going to stay. Well, go ahead.
I think either he's going to be in Phoenix or he's going to be in L.A. He's going to be in L.A.
Tony?
He's going to stay in Golden State. They literally, he turned that down so they could extend him a number of years. He's going to end up with less money than what he thinks he's worth, but he's going to stay in Golden State because they're going to offer him that deal that ends his contract, ends his playing career there. And the Lakers cannot do that. They're not going to do it. Rui, Reeves, why would you go old with Draymond when you can just keep the young guys? Keep your future.
I actually agree. I don't think Draymond is going anywhere. I don't think Clay is going anywhere. I think if anybody gets moved, I think it may be Jordan Poole. Draymond ain't going nowhere. Steph Curry don't want Draymond to go nowhere.
Now, they will try to move Clay. If they can get a bigger piece by including Clay at this point, they will. But you're right. Most teams are going to ask for Poole.
Right. Yeah.
They pay him now?
So what?
Yeah.
So? What's that mean? The Wizards just paid Bradley Beal last year. And he's a Phoenix Sun now.
I got you.
Yeah, and Levine is on the trade block. They're listening to offers. I don't know if he's actively on the block, but they're listening, trying to see field offers for him. And he just got paid. So
yeah. Man, look. Don't take these players that just got big contracts. Don't take it in the context thinking that they can't be traded. Kevin Durant was in his first year of a new 4-year deal with Brooklyn. He got traded. Bradley Beal was just finished year 1 of a new contract with Washington. He got traded. Zion Williamson, if anybody's willing to dance with the injuries, will be traded. Don't let that fool you. Don't let it fool you one bit. Say what?
You made your point, man. I said you made your point. I get it. I'm thinking it's entirely different.
You said what?
I said I was thinking a entirely different way, but now I thought I saw some online that said they're preparing for him to opt out. But
no, he is gonna opt out.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's probably what he was just talking about. Like,
yeah,
he can opt out and do something else and do it cheaper. Because
well,
because this is not Draymond talking. This is just the talking heads talking. And I mean, he's going to opt out because there's only that 1 year left. So he wants a contract to finish his career, and Golden State will likely give it to him because he's still a fan favorite. And he did show up, defensively in the playoffs.
Right, and what they'll probably put emphasis on Draymond to do is, try to up your offensive game. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. I mean, Golden State is going to be a major player if Wiggins stays whole season. We don't have a sonic boom nigga punch during the off season that's caught on camera. Golden State will be a major player back in business next year. They'll be a top 3, top 4 seed. We'll be talking about them in the mix for a championship. Those guys, they're the definition of a team. They know how to play together. And I would not be surprised next year if the Western Conference Finals was Denver versus Golden State. Teams that know how to play together. Patience. That's one reason why I salute Denver, because we're in such a win-now microwave society, people don't realize that their coach had been there for 8 years. They trusted their process. they drafted, and all of their players who they've given max contracts to, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, Jokic, they're homegrown, drafted just like Golden State. Now it's paid off. And people don't realize that game plan still works. Still works. So,
Yeah.
let me get off the NBA for a second and get with a topic that was definitely hot late last week. And Calvin, I'm going to start with you. Lil Boosie.
What happened?
Lil Boosie.
What happened to Lil Boosie?
Lil Boosie, yeah, you ain't heard? Lil Boosie got locked up by the feds.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he got locked up for, what did he get locked up for? He got locked up coming out of court, didn't he?
Yep.
For,
I don't know exactly what, but what I mean, god damn, somebody snitching. What do you think about our man Boosie Boo?
I mean, the hood is the hood, man. It don't.
yeah, it's,
The hood is the hood. You can get out of the hood, but some niggas is just hood, and their middle name is indictment. Like,
yeah. They some in some circles, some niggas, they look at this shit as currency. Like, man, I've been locked up, I've been locked up so many times. Like, so you've been caught how many times? You need to do something else, brother. This shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit get played. I don't know, maybe because of my age, this shit get played out now.
Oh, well, I don't think you'll find any disagreement on this conversation.
Too old to be going to jail for dumb shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it was, whatever it was, it was dumb. I don't even know what it was, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta just let it go. You know what I'm saying? Let this shit go. Get over with. Go work it. Go do something else.
What was you going to say? Go work what?
I was go work at $7 some shit. Oh man, you know, like, and then you got people. I don't know, man. Boosie was my nigga. He musician wise, but I don't agree with a lot of shit he's saying. That's all. He putting kids in a lot of positions to just do dumb shit. But that's what rap is.
Tony, what do you think?
Man, what I just say? Like, you can take the nigga out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out the nigga. It just is what it is. With some people, they hard heads. They hard heads. John Morant, he's a hard head. And what grandma say, hard head make a soft behind. Well, there you go.
Well,
in lockup with Cleese Johnson. You talk about man's butt.
The hard way. The hard way.
Well, okay. The common denominator is, do y'all watch Vlad TV?
Depends on who's talking.
Depends on who it is, yeah.
Well, he's done multiple interviews with Vlad, and for some reason, Vlad has a track record of after you interview with him, you know, it's not a good track record for the person who was being interviewed.
Michael J. White been interviewed. Michael J. White.
He might be the only one.
Michael J. White. Yeah, let me see.
And the only thing bad that dude done did lately is bad movies.
Lately?
Yeah, that movie with Tyrese is terrible.
What was that one called?
Does it Come Out Fighting?
Oh, God.
War movie.
So basically the narrative is you go on if you a rap, if you go on Vlad TV and you after the interview you go out and do some dumb shit and get caught, it's Vlad's fault.
Well, I don't know if it was anything specific that he did like on the spot, but I don't know. It's I mean, now mind you, Tyrese just came out 2 weeks ago pretty much saying that musicians should not go on Vlad TV. You know, and this was, I mean, and what a coincidence that Boosie gets locked up right afterwards. It's a video. Tyrese came out saying, no, Vlad, you know, da-da-da-da-da, you shouldn't, don't do it. You know, people think that he's an undercover informant.
How is he undercover?
Yeah, but right. I was gonna say he's doing them interviews real time, and he ain't responsible for what Boosie say out of his mouth.
That is true.
He asking some loaded questions, but a lot of the smart people, they just don't answer the questions.
That's true.
Are they strapped to a chair, or is there somebody off? I ain't blaming him for the shit you said. You a grown, you snitched on yourself.
I don't disagree with that. Not at all.
Like he be pressing people. He'll get people on there. He be pressing even the female porn stars. He be pressing them about some of the male, some of their male co-stars, and the first thing the girls say, I ain't saying no names.
Right.
Who's it good to do that?
The Boondocks addressed this years ago. You know what I'm saying? They addressed this shit. You can't put what you do out there and then call somebody else that you did. I'm pretty sure I ain't never been interviewed by no Vlad, never met him, but I'm pretty sure there's some type of waiver they signed about, some type of shit. But even if that won't, you go in there fully knowing that this shit is gonna be on YouTube. That's what he do. He not recording it for his own business.
It's business. It's business.
It's business. You know it's gonna be on the internet. And if you happen to find yourself doing certain shit, why talk about it?
I don't disagree. Listen, I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. Like I said, I'm listening to the streets. Listening to the streets, nigga.
The streets have a real problem with accountability.
Saying that shit. Now, I can give you a hallelujah on that one.
You know what I'm saying? It's like anytime we got to come, anytime we, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, by all means.
No, anytime, you know what I'm saying? We hold somebody get held accountable. Either they racist or they sometimes a nigga be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
You don't see like a nigga, they be like, free my nigga this, free my nigga that. Well, tell that nigga stay out them people's house and stop doing shit. You know? It's one thing if you being oppressed.
Hey, I said free Boosie on me and Roman's video game live. Okay, but I'm listening.
Like you drive in the neighborhood and you being profiled. You know what I'm saying? That's different. But if you got 30 fucking guns on your Instagram and somebody wind up getting shot that they think you know what I'm saying? They not oppressed. That's just probable. That's just how it goes. Not doing shit. That's all. Sometimes you just feel like sometimes we can just do what we want to do with no
repercussions.
No repercussions.
Well, speaking of guns and Instagram, and I didn't mean to go this before. I wanted to exit sports and talk about Boosie, but I'm going to get back into sports. Ja Morant, the suspension was just handed down, 25 games. Tony, I'll start with you. Do you think that suspension was enough?
Too little. Too little. I was the full year. If you ain't gonna do full year, you at least got to do 60% of the games. They got to hit him where he can comprehend and understand. I don't know that he loves money because he ain't like he came from a hood.
No, he ain't come from no broke family.
But at the same time, you gotta send a louder message. You gotta send a louder message.
Calvin, what do you think?
He didn't really break no law. You know what I'm saying? I would have to see somebody else suspended for around that same length of time and notice and see what they did. You know what I'm saying? He didn't break out, but he didn't break no law. That's almost like you said 25?
25 games.
That's almost like the NFL being suspended for almost 4 or 5 games.
Right. That's about the equivalency of a 4-game suspension. Right.
So that's like that I don't think that's that bad. I mean, it could even anyway depending on who you ask. You know what I'm saying? That ain't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hell, most of the guys miss that much. At least he get it out the way. He didn't break no law for real. It's not the worst thing, but it could have been a little shorter to me because he didn't break a law. Now, had he come, what if he came out and he was like, what if he had like his, what if it was legal shit? You know what I'm saying? But the NBA is a image driven league, if not almost, well not more than the NFL, but you know how they say that shit.
Well, to that, I'll only say that image driven league because of who the commissioner is. But go ahead, finish.
Yeah, because you remember they just started letting niggas wear tattoos in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Well,
so they not.
I'm gonna say this, bro.
I think the length of the thing is because this not the first time.
It's flagrant violation of code of conduct.
Yep.
David Stern was still commissioner. He'd have got that big ass suspension.
Yep.
Yeah, I promise you, he was sitting in Silver's office, and they had a direct conversation with him and his agent about that very thing. And then you ain't gonna let no time elapse. You just gonna come right out with it.
I'm gonna say this. If you've listened to the podcast when this happened, or even the YouTube lives I've did, me and Tony on the same page. I think John Morant should have got a full year. Calvin, I know he didn't break any laws, but again, there's a code of conduct and there's a morality clause in your contract. You didn't have to break any laws, but you said it yourself.
Right.
Image-driven league. You can't have one of the faces of your league holding up guns on Instagram, knowing that children are looking at this. And to me, it should have been a year because, for one, you sat in the commissioner's office and you lied your ass off about saying, "Oh, I'm good now." A bullshit-ass 8-game suspension at a retreat that was clearly FOS, full of shit. And then you literally 2 months later, you got in trouble for the same shit. Right. That's like a nigga getting out of jail for petty armed robbery, but then go back 2 weeks later for the same shit. And then on top of that, a week ago, a month after the said situation, you gonna come out and say it was a toy gun.
What you gonna say? You know niggas like they say, man, they always fucking with me, man. I don't understand. Fuck free that nigga till he free.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. I think John Morant should have got a full year because you like Tony said, you really need to send a message that we ain't playing. If David Stern is a commissioner, oh yeah, he'd have got a year. He may have got a year and a half for just saying the gun was a fucking toy. A month after the fact.
And if I'm the Grizzlies, because of the impact it has on my team, yeah, I'll let him serve that suspension. But the Grizzlies themselves can suspend him further if they wanted to.
Oh, if the Grizzlies suspended him further, the NBA wouldn't intervene. Maybe the Players Association would.
Yeah, but there's precedent with that. That's happened before, where the NBA gave a suspension and then the team came behind it and furthered it because they had their own, ideas of what to do.
Well, I always thought the Grizzlies suspension of him was a joke because you're going to suspend him and the offseason just started. What are you suspending him from?
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but they probably didn't do that to a player of his magnitude. You know what I'm saying?
At that point, it doesn't matter. And the reason why, because of a player of his magnitude, is why I would come down harder because of the fact, if this was the first time, okay, but literally 2 months later, you came out in public, you literally spit in everybody's face and said it's raining. And it's not just a gun on Instagram. John Morant has a rap sheet now. He has a bunch of events that's happened over the last year, 2 years, where
he beat up somebody, didn't he?
Beat up a 17-year-old, pointing red dots at the Indiana Pacers bench, getting kicked out of a mall and then trying to fight another high schooler in a gym. No, this is why, because you're not getting it. This is why 25 games, that's a fucking joke. To me, that's a joke. And I'm not trying to come down hard on a black player or anything like that. This is stupidity.
Are we sure at this point? Are we sure he's not from Richmond? I'm just because I've seen this. This tree starting to look real familiar.
He's from 8 Mile. He's not a gangster. His real name is Clarence.
And you would also think at this point maybe his teammates is rolling up, calling him, like, yo, what the fuck, man?
You need to get rid of all them niggas what niggas? Because he's acting as if he grew up in the hood with these cats.
Exactly.
Let's call it what it is. He's being influenced by niggas around him. And usually you see that in an athlete, somebody who grew up dirt poor and he's taking his neighborhood, which you grew up in a life of.
He grew up in a middle-class neighborhood.
Are these paid where you get these niggas from? Where did you adopt these foster niggas from? I'm just saying, this never somebody worked so hard to. I mean, I know that the lure of that facade is crucial to young people, but I've never seen somebody work that hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're not. Like, we know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know you. We know you.
Bro, let me tell you
I
something.
don't know you. I don't even know you, and I know you.
Bro, bro, let me tell you something. A 25-game suspension to me is a joke. It's because he's probably going to miss 25. He was probably going to miss 25 games anyway because of his style of play.
I'd be making, what did I tell you? That combined with the stuff going on, I'd be making phone calls.
Yeah, and Tony told me this after the first round of the playoffs. He said, I would try to trade him. He said this before the second allegation ever hit. Tony was screaming, trade Ja Morant in April.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not right, but I know they're not going to do that. And because my next one is going to be those 25 games that what y'all was talking about, like it should have been a full year. If it was, what's the other nigga? Who else on that team?
What? Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Anybody, any one of them niggas. If it was any one of them niggas that did that, yeah, they would have got the full year. But,
well, this has been the problem because, and I said this a month ago, Memphis has never had a player like him as far as a superstar caliber player. They've had very good players. They've had very good teams. But they've never had a polarizing player like him.
Right. That's why he got 25.
Oh, no, and they don't know what to do with him.
Right. They can't live with him, can't kill him.
Right.
Don't want him to go nowhere else but somebody dead.
He ain't healthy enough to go through all that, and frankly, he ain't good enough because the Grizzlies play best as a team when he ain't on the floor.
That's the truth. Hey, and I said this after the second incident with Ja Morant. I said, you know, if I'm Dylan Brooks right now, I would be laughing my ass off because he was the sacrificial lamb for all of this bullshit.
And you know what? With that being said, what if you trade somebody like, if you want to trade him, but who you trade him for? And right now, that Zion Wilson, that might make a lot of sense for both of them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah. And
then he can be closer to New Orleans, closer to his idol, NBA YoungBoy, and they can put him on. Hold on, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Crazy. For Ja Morant, that sends Wilson to Memphis. What? Land of the barbecue. You know, they got. Hold on. And you send Morant to New Orleans where NBA YoungBoy at, and he can move around a lot of other niggas like him. It's like he can run free with all the other Ja Morants on the Ja Morant.
Man, let me tell you something. If Ja Morant went to New Orleans, I would fear for his life.
And nobody got full eyebrows. Everybody got slits in them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All that shit. He would love it. He'd be out the league in 2 weeks, but he love it. He love it. It'll work for everybody.
Oh. Well, I mean, if you make that trade, you're getting one player who don't play because he's out of shape and got other stuff going on. And then you have another player who likes to play with guns. I said this last week, that 2019 draft class. Let me find out R.J. Barrett is going to be the prized possession of that draft.
Yeah, man. We've come undone.
These new niggas, man. These new athletes, man. They a trip.
These new niggas.
They a trip, man. They a trip. But anyway, before we exit, Tony, what'd you think about Fast and the Furious 10?
I mean, it's a Fast and the Furious movie.
Go ahead. Let them finish.
It's a movie, and I mean, okay, you know, I tuned in just to see what new fantastical shit they was gonna do with a car. So I got my money's worth with that. And you know, I mean, I got the usual. It's about the family line. And so, hey, did get to see John Cena die, though. That was great.
I'm fucking weak. Wow.
That was great.
I'm weak.
Uncle Muscle died.
Are you sure he's dead? Because in Fast and the Furious, nobody ever really dies.
Well, you got a point there, because Gal Gadot there at the end, in the post credits. Okay, yeah. And how that happened?
Yeah, exactly. I done seen Han die 3 times.
Now, here's the trip part, though. So was all that necessary for Vin Diesel and The Rock to do all that fake beef and all this other, and I'll never work with him again, just to work with him again,
I think it might have been fake news just to build the anticipation of the finales.
Well, he's not. He's having he has a solo movie coming. It's not going to be Shaw and Hobbs. It's going to be Hobbs. I don't know how that works, how that looks. It seems like that's going to be another Rock bomb. But that's allegedly why he got that one-off, in terms of that. But you need Shaw.
You do, because we saw how he was in Black Adam.
But this is the first part of a trilogy, so
yep.
I guess that's supposedly to end the series. So we'll see how that goes. Jason Momoa's character,
he was great. He was great to me.
Near the end, it started getting annoying, though, but it was cool.
All right, well, any final takes, Big C?
No, you already know how I feel about this fucking movie.
No, I wasn't even talking about that.
I got a suggestion, though, of them, because we're actually watching it now. The first one was good. If you just like straight action, if you want to see Hemsworth do something other than Thor, Extraction 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Extraction 2 is out?
Yep.
Okay, then. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. What I'm going to watch. I done got caught up. My show one of my favorite shows just came back, man, The Gemstones. I don't know if y'all like shit like that, but that is my show. You ever heard of anybody?
Not me.
I'm the only one that like crazy white people shit. Okay, fine.
You can watch Succession for that.
Man, we watched Ozark. What you talking about?
Yeah, Ozark. How about that?
Them 2 different white people. I'm talking about. You know who Danny McBride is? Look, just go watch. It's on HBO. It's on Max. That's why it's 3 seasons of it, but they 30 minutes long episode. That shit is funny as a mother. It reminds me of some Talladega Nights type shit. For real.
What's it called again? I'll check it out.
The Gemstones, but it's basically following this mega church family. I think it's my boy told me at work told me it's based on what's that? It was a white lady. She was one of those TV preachers, and she was real rich. They made a documentary about her. Somebody died. I forgot. Anyway, it's like that, but it got Danny McBride in it. It got what's the daddy from Roseanne?
John Goodman. John Goodman.
You got him in it. It's some goofy shit.
Now, I'm a John Goodman fan, so yeah, you've intrigued me.
It's some goofy shit. And from growing up in the church, I was in church almost every day for like 12 years, so I think this shit is hilarious. For real.
Well, for that, you gotta watch Greenleaf.
I was getting ready to say, is that a black version of Greenleaf?
No.
I mean a white version of Greenleaf?
No, Greenleaf's a little bit more serious than that. Ain't Greenleaf Tyler Perry?
Hey, man, Greenleaf was the raunchiest church show.
Yeah.
I mean, God.
Yeah, though, because Keith David is my dude.
Yeah, Keith David, but golly.
I will watch it. I just never got a chance to catch it.
I mean, the pastor and the wife break up, and then the son is messing around. Oh, my God. I'm like, this is supposed to be church people?
And the daughters, the one daughter is the nomad, the other daughter got issues.
Yeah, want to run away with an abusive dude? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that junk a little bit more serious. It sounded I never, when I saw it, I wasn't gonna watch it. I just never got a chance. They having another junk come out now. What's my boy from the Old Spice commercial?
Deion Cole.
Man, he got a show coming on BET Plus or whatever. That shit it's gonna be good. His daddy stole $10 million from the mob, and his daddy dead. So man, they had his ass. That's good.
Okay. All right, well, fellas, I'm gonna just say this.
Parting shot though. If you were a fan at all, I guess, of the series, this to me, this is arguably the best movie. Rise of the Beast, Transformers.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. Okay, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's the best movie. It is so non-Michael Bay, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
Oh man, I like Mike Bay.
I do too, but okay. But I like Transformers too.
Did you like Bumblebee?
I thought Bumblebee was okay.
So,
Well-
no Michael Bay, no spinning camera.
Yeah, no, this is more true to the
To the comic books.
generation. Yeah, to the generation one. Yeah, the comic and the TV show and the cartoon and just the general lore. Plus my girl in it, Dominique Fishback.
Oh yeah, she is in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
she is in it. Okay, well, I'm gonna just say this: Crawford versus Spence. Y'all know what it is.
Right.
You want to?
Crawford versus Spence, July 29th. You know what it is.
I'm gonna leave that to y'all.
All right, most anticipated fight since Pacquiao and Mayweather.
I'm gonna watch WWE on that night, even if it ain't no WWE. I'm gonna find WWE to watch.
See, I be hating on the boxing. I get it.
Just because. Hey, that bloodline storyline is hot though.
Okay, but fellas,
Pretty interesting.
we nearing football. We nearing football. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna smoke y'all asses in the prediction league again. And with that being said, I'll holler at y'all later.
All right, man.
All right.
All right.
Tony, Calvin, my guys. Yes, this was a basketball-based show, but we covered so much ground today. Talking about, I started off with the Nuggets winning the championship, then got into the trade, Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, and the Zion Williamson. Should he be traded? Draymond Green, we got into that as well. Also, we talked about the Ja Morant suspension. Was it enough? What do you think? And then we had a life discussion where we talked about Lil Boosie and his situation. So a lot of bases covered, but with that being said, with a buzzer. In a couple of days, it is officially going to be summer. That will be on Wednesday, on June 21st. But again, I hope everybody has a wonderful and blessed week. And, it's back on the grind, back to work. And just can't wait for the weekend. Even though it's Monday, can't wait for the weekend to get it started and just go on to the next one, so on and so forth. Look, and be real with you. The only thing I'm looking forward to in the summertime this summer is the fight. The fight and my son's birthday. That is it. Real talk. But anyway, don't forget to hit that subscription button and become part of the Sports Plus Life family. It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns. Sports Plus Life. I'm out this beer. Peace. And I love you. You know it.